For the waistband, begin with a slip knot. Then chain 13. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Round 1 into the second chain from the hook, single crochet. Continue with single crochets to the end of the round. So a single crochet is insert your hook into that chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2 loops on the hook. And you'll continue to the end of the round. I've completed round 1 with those single crochets and I have 12 stitches. Round 2, chain 1 and turn. So here again we're continuing on with single crochets into that stitch, next stitch, work that single crochet, and then it's single crochets to the end of the round. I've completed round 2 with those single crochets. So for every round, I'll make certain that I have the same number of stitches, which was 12 stitches. I've continued on to complete the waistband, and all I did was repeat round 2 until when you measure this waistband around your waist, both sides come to a close. You're able to join them up on both sides. Now you don't want your waistband to overlap. You want them to meet exactly at the edges around your waist. We'll now seam up along the edges to join the waistband together. So here I'm just working slip stitches. And I'll align the edges together, stitch by stitch, or stitch for stitch rather. Continue to the end. I've joined the edges of the waistband, and now we'll begin with the skirt. So here we're working single crochets all across. Round 1, chain 1, and into that next, well, there's no stitches to work from. You'll just work your stitches into the little gaps that you see and try to space them out evenly. Continue with single crochets all around to the end. I've continued on and I've worked round 1 with those single crochets. I'm at the end of the round. So to end round 1, it's into that first single crochet that I've worked. I will slip stitch to join. So now for round 2, okay, so we've worked the waistband, and if you look at our bodies, it sort of goes in at the waist, and then you can feel it coming out slightly. Now, in order to accommodate that, we'll need to work increases. And an increase is basically working 2 stitches into 1. Now for this skirt, I'll work 1, 2, 3, 4 increases. And let me show you how I'm going to do that. With my piece folded, and here's my start. I'll work my first increase here on this side of start. I'll work my next increase right at this corner here where it takes a turn. My next increase, my third increase on this corner here where it takes a turn, and I'll work my last increase at the just before the end on the opposite side of start again. So round 2, chain 1 and turn. Now you'll turn for every round because that sort of helps with this line that you see. You'll find that if you don't turn, your line would go askew. So turning helps keep that line straight. Then it's into the next stitch, single crochet, and remember we're working an increase here, so it's 1 single crochet, and here's another. That was 2 stitches worked into 1. Then you continue with single crochets until you get to that corner. Now you can mark off those corners with stitch markers if you prefer. I guess that would help. And also you don't have to be really precise with the amount of stitches in between each increase. It's really just work those increases into the corners. Continue with single crochets to that first corner. I've worked my way to this edge here, and that's where I'll work my second increase. So again, an increase is working 2 stitches into 1. That's my first and my second. So then I'll continue on with single crochets to that next corner. I've worked my way and I'm at the next corner or turning point. So again here I'll work an increase, which is working 2 stitches into 1. So here goes the first single crochet, and there's the second. And then you'll single crochet to the stitch before the end. So I've worked my way to the end. I've got 1 more stitch to go before I join. So into that last stitch, I'll work an increase. That's 1, 2, and then I'll slip stitch into that first single crochet to join. Round 3, chain 1 and turn. Here we're working single crochets to the end of the round. I've continued on. I ended off round 3 with a slip stitch to join. I then repeated round 3 until this, my piece now ends when fitted. It ends just at the start of the hip, so at the upper hip. And you'll see I've worked the rounds. The repeat of round 3, that piece measures 6 centimeters or just 2.5, just under 2.5 inches. So you'll repeat round 3 until the piece, when fitted, ends just in line with the upper hip. Now to move on, I'll call this part of the skirt the underskirt, because you don't really see this part of the skirt. It's hidden with the frill. that lays on top. So round 1 of the underskirt, it's chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh yes, and make sure that you're working this part on the right side. So here's my right side and I'm working it on this side. So here we're working back post double crochets. Now to work a back post double crochet, it's yarn over, insert the hook into the post, and this is the post, and for a back post you'll go from behind into that post of the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2 loops on the hook. And you'll continue with back post double crochets to the end of the round. I'm at the end of round 1 of the underskirt. So to end the round, it's into the 3rd chain from chain 3, slip stitch to join. Now you'll see that by working these back post double crochets, we've sort of created stitches that lay on top, and we will use these stitches in order to work the frill of our skirt. So round 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. And here we're working double crochets all across. So to work a double crochet, it's yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2 loops on the hook, and you continue with double crochets to the end of the round. I've continued on, and all I've done was repeat round 2 of the underskirt, which was my chain 3, turn, double crochets to the end, and slip stitch to join. So at this point my entire skirt measures 12 inches or 31 centimeters, and that's fine for the size that I'm working. You'll need to work as many rounds as need be in order for the skirt to end past the entire hip, and you want it to end on the upper thigh. So the skirt that you're making may not be 31 inches. It could be shorter or longer, depending on the size that you're making. Okay, so at this point, well, mine ends on the upper thigh, and it covers the entire hip and the crotch, and that's fine. That's where I want it. And yes, the skirt will be a bit longer because we will be working those frills as well. So just to explain the pattern a little, you see here we've worked this set of back post double crochets. Now if you feel that you want to add on more frills, and that's fine, you can go ahead. Like if you feel like I'm going to add on 2 sets of frills, and you feel, okay, I want 3 for mine, and you feel like around here I want a frill, or wherever it may be, then you'll work those back post double crochets wherever you want the frill to come about. That just helps, as I said, it gives us this little stitch in order to work our pattern, and that helps a lot. So moving on, we'll move on to the frill, and I'll call this frill the first frill, even though it is the second frill. It's just that it's a continuation from the skirt, from the underskirt. So for the first frill, it's chain 1, okay, round 1, chain 1, into that same stitch from where the chain 1 comes out of, single crochet, then it's chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 1 stitch into the next stitch, single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 1 stitch into the next stitch, single crochet, and you'll continue with chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 1 stitch into the next stitch, single crochet, continue to the end of the round. I've continued on and worked those chain 3s and single crochets all across. So here I am at the end. Now at the end, you'll see here for myself, I have 2 stitches remaining, and the stitch pattern is skip 1 stitch and then you're working your chain 3. So just to show you how to adjust the pattern if you're in this situation, and if you have 1 stitch remaining, that's perfectly fine. You'll work it as normal with a chain 3 and a slip stitch into that single crochet that we had started off with. So if you've got 2 stitches remaining, you'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and here you go into that stitch before the end and pick up a loop, and then you'll go into that single crochet that we had started off with and pick up a loop, and then you're going to pull up those 2 loops into that last loop to slip stitch. Round 2, chain 1 and turn. Into that first stitch, work a single crochet, or actually it's into the same stitch from where the chain 1 comes out of. Work a single crochet. Into the chain 3, work 3 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3. Into that single crochet from the round before, work a single crochet. So for this round, we're working 3 single crochets into every chain 3 space, and we're working a single crochet into every single crochet. So it's 3 single crochets into that chain 3 space and a single crochet into the single crochet from the round before. And you'll continue to the end of the round. I'm at the end of round 2, and I've worked those single crochets, 3 single crochets into the chain 3 loop and a single crochet into the single crochets from the round before. So here I am, and this is my last loop. I've worked that single crochet into the single crochet. So I'll work 3 single crochets into that loop, 1, 2, 3, and here where I had started off with my single crochet, I'll slip stitch to join. Then it's chain 1 and turn. So here we're changing the stitch a little, or this chain a little. I need to begin my chain at the center of that last chain. So to get there, I'm going to single crochet once, single crochet twice, and here I am at the center of that chain. Then it's chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and into the center stitch from that chain, I'll single crochet. So what I'm actually doing is I'm overlapping the chains. Then it's chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and here again into the center stitch, I'll single crochet. So you'll continue with chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and into the center of those stitches in your that's worked into the chain, that's where I'll single crochet, and you'll continue to the end of the round. I've worked my way to the end of round 3, and I've worked those chain 3s and single crochets. So here right at the end, I've worked my last single crochet into the center of that chain 3 into that center stitch. Then it's chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now here I won't slip stitch into that first single crochet. I'd rather slip stitch into the one that's worked in the center of that first chain 3. So into that single crochet, I'll slip stitch to join. Round 4, chain 1 and turn. So round 4 is a repeat of round 2 with a single crochet into that same stitch from where the chain 1 comes out of. Then it's into my chain 3. It's 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, a single crochet into the single crochet from the round before, and you'll continue to the end of the round. I've continued on with the first frill, and all I've done was repeat round 2 and round 3. So I've stopped at a round 3 repeat, which is the single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. At this point, my piece measures, okay, I'll say that frill measures, if I take the measurement, it's just under 7 inches, or that would be 17 centimeters. Now you work your frill as long or as short as you'd like it. It's all up to you. All you need to do is repeat round 2 and round 3, remembering to stop at a round 3 repeat. So for the last round, it's chain 1 and turn. Then it's into that same stitch from where the chain 1 comes out of, single crochet. Into the chain 3 space, work 3 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3. Into that single crochet from the round before, work a single crochet. Into the chain 3 spaces. So really the pattern is into all the chain 3 spaces, work 3 double crochets, and into the single crochets, work a single crochet. And you'll continue to the end of the round. I'm at the end of the last round for the frill, and I've worked that edging round. Okay, I'm here into that last loop. I've worked 3 double crochets, and to complete the round, into that single crochet that we worked at the start, you'll slip stitch to join. Then it's fasten off and cut off this excess yarn. To work the second frill, which is here, we'll work it along those back post double crochet stitches. Attach yarn to the center back. Then it's chain 1 into that same stitch as chain 1, work a single crochet, then you'll skip 1 stitch, sorry, it's actually chain 3, 1 2 3, skip the next stitch, and into that next one work a single crochet. Then it's chain 3, 1 2 3, skip 1 stitch, into the next one work a single crochet. Now you continue to the end of the round here, and basically we're repeating round 1 of the frill 1. So you'll do the same, and that's how you work the entire stitch pattern for the second frill. I've continued on with the second frill, and here too all I've done was repeat round 2 and round 3. I then stopped at a round 3 repeat in order to work that edging, which was my chain 1, turn single crochet into that same stitch as chain 1, and then it's 3 double crochets into the chain 3s and single crochets into the single crochets from the round before. Then it's fasten off and cut off the excess yarn. Now for the second frill, you want to make sure that it's worked until it reaches just over that first frill. So you don't want any part of the underskirt sticking out. You just want to work that second frill slightly over the first frill. So now that we're done with both the frills, that basically completes the skirt. All that's left to do is to weave in all these ends. And for any beginners out there, let me show you how I go about it. The important thing here is to make sure that you go back and forth when weaving it in, because after a few washes you may find that the ends do pop out and become visible. So with my yarn needle threaded onto that tail end, I'll just weave it in and out of these stitches, working on the back of my skirt. Okay, so you do want to go back and forth. So what I do is I've been working in this direction, and now I'll change over and work into the next direction. So all I'm doing is weaving it in and out. And once that's done, you can cut off this excess. So you'll do the same with all the ends that you see to complete the skirt.